Committee meeting. And call to order. We have quorum. I think we've got one online and two away. So we call this to order at 6:30 p.m. and hand the chair over to Councillor Heaton, who can read the acknowledgement of the First Nations.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I want to say good evening, everybody. Just want to welcome you to our Community Services Committee meeting today, June 10th. The Mayor and Council wish to acknowledge the town of Fort Smith is located within Treaty 8 territory. Treaty 8 territory also encompasses the traditional homelands of Salt River First Nation, Tawati Dennisubale Nation, and the Indigenous peoples of Fort Smith. These nations have maintained stewardship of their sacred lands throughout the generations. We honor your knowledge, teaching, traditions, and the land. We respectively recognize our generational histories and commit to strive for unity in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. Okay. May I have someone move the agenda, please?
I'll move the agenda be adopted as presented.
Seconded. Deputy Mayor. Any discussion? Councilor Kruger? Okay. All in favor of the agenda? Okay, passed unanimously. May I have someone move to approve the minutes from last meeting, please?
I'll move that the minutes from the Community Service Standing Committee meeting on May 13, 2025 be adopted as presented.
Seconded by Councilor Kruger. Okay, any discussions? Seeing none, all in favor? Passed unanimous. Okay. We have our vision and mission in our packages, as well as our declaration of financial interest. And seeing none, we will move to item C, Director's Report, Community Services Director's Report. Director Kalucha, anything you want to highlight?
So I think there's quite a lot that we did over the last month. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer. A couple things that are additional. We were actually able to book a magician to come to town. So July 4th, we just signed the contract today. So that'll be coming up and be advertised in the community. And we're working together with the Métis Council and Salt River First Nations who are helping fund this as an event for the community. And I also have an update with some of our staffing with the pool, so that when we are able to reopen again, I have the training set for the first week in July to have 2 people take their NL. And I have 2 full-time lifeguards lined up for the summer, and a term aquatic coordinator to help through that process as well. So we're still not, it's still going to be tight with staffing, but we'll work around that and make the best schedule that we can for the community. So as soon as we can get water back in the pool and get that training happening, we'll be able to get open again.
Thank you, Director. Any comments from leadership?
Everything looked good. Well done.
What?
Me? I thought you had your hand up.
No.
Oh.
I was looking behind me. No, I've scratched it.
Okay, so it doesn't need to be moved, right? It's just a report. Okay, copy that. Okay, easy breezy then. Moving into de-administration. Okay. May I have someone move the item on the agenda, please? And it is going to be the briefing note fireweek festival donation request.
Yeah, it's just that we actually deliberately did not put a motion in there because there's quite a lot for discussion. So this would be, at this point, an item for discussion.
Okay.
And then if council determines to make a motion, then that motion will come out of that.
Okay.
Up for discussion right now. Director Kalucha?
Just to explain the update, so I was able to get a little bit more information from the festival organizers. So there is a reduction in what they were asking for, just based off of an understanding that there was only one stage available. They thought maybe there were 2 stages available, and the reduction in what they're asking for is reflective of that from the original briefing note. They were also able to explain that the use of Riverside Park wouldn't be for camping, it would be for parking, like larger trailers and stuff like that that might be involved with the car show that's coming, and no additional services being requested with that. So that gave a little bit more, because it was difficult to kind of quantify what that might look like. For that information, that is why the dollar values changed.
Do you look at the funding, the dedicated line for funding as well as the main budget? Just a moment about it.
Yeah, so in the set contributions that are in the budget, there is $2,500 set aside for a music festival. And that typically has been given to the Fireweed Festival in the past years. So that is set for a music festival, and that's there, and then all that's remaining in the rest of the donation budget is the $1,820. It just so happens that we also have another briefing note requesting funding, and it's another music-based festival, so that's kind of a first that we've seen come through for this music festival funding.
Councilor Gresham?
I'm just curious, how does this request compare to last year's request in terms of amount of things asked for and dollar amount? Do you have any idea of that?
Without being able to give you the exact amount, this is more than was requested last year. So the arena was more than what was allowable. What I believe what ended up being donated last year was the $2,500. The stage came out of that, so a transfer of $1,500 was made. The stage was set up as the part of their donation, and then we, like the recreation and special events part of my department, assisted with programming as part of like being a partner in our own programming for the community.
Councilor Kukra?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple of, I guess, clarifications. In it, there is reference to the portable stage, and I'm assuming that would be the larger one. I know I'm not supposed to read ahead, but I noticed in the briefing note for another request, it was indicated that the stage was not available for that particular group because we don't have trained personnel available to set it up. And I'm just wondering, does that apply to this as well?
Sure. So not in this case. The issue there is just the dates that were chosen. So we don't have available staff for the dates of the other requests. We do have available staff for these dates. So knowing when the festivals were, I did try to put that out there to arrange about 6 weeks ago now. I put the dates out there, and unfortunately that's just a time when we have staff away. For the other requests, for this one, we are able to set it up.
Councilor Kukra?
Yeah, thank you. I sort of have to confess, with all these donations, I have a bit of a quandary where I don't feel I have adequate information to make an informed decision. I would assume any event of this magnitude, I've been involved in organizing other festivals, and part of your original planning process and everything is sort of outlining a budget so that you can sort of figure out what you need to do in the way of fundraising, what your expenses are going to be, and at the end of the day, are you going to be losing your shirt or are you going to be possibly showing a small profit for the organization that you're doing this for? And I really think it's part of our overall donation considerations. We should be asking the people that are asking for funding and other in-kind contributions to provide an outline of what their budget is for the event so that we can see exactly where our funding might be utilized. I know we do it with on an ad hoc basis with some other applications, but I think it needs to be a critical part of the decision-making process is what kind of funding are we talking about here through the organization. And it would also be nice to have a bit of an idea of what the overall economic benefits would be to the community. We're not necessarily saying dollar-wise, but anticipated, what are your registration levels? How many people are you expecting to come in? It'd be nice to see a breakdown between if you're paying for entertainment or artists, as would be in this case, how much of that funding, how much of the pool of funds being used to support local artists versus artists coming from Hay River, Yellowknife, and wherever else they may be coming. Just so that when we look at it, we have a really good idea that we are spending the taxpayers or ratepayers funds in a good manner. So just a comment with regards to when we get around to developing a proper donations policy. I think that needs to be part of that consideration as well.
Thank you, Councilor Kubrat.
Just jumping on Mike's point there, it's also to know what percentage partners we are. Are we 100% funding a festival? Are we 50% funding a festival? Are we like, where are we in the funding plan, the budget? Because I do know that these groups have approached other donation sources as well. So where do we fit in the equation? And that would be in a detailed budget would tell you that. So I'm supporting your point on the budget. I think that identifies where the funds are coming from, what they're being used for, and then we know where we fit in there.
Councilor Pearson.
I'm reading under the briefing note, it says the donation request if the arena is needed or if the arena is not needed. What determines whether the arena is needed? Is that weather? So in terms of us knowing right now what to consider, we really can't predict the weather.
You gotta approve the higher one, I hope you go lower.
No. Approve the lower and I hope it's sunny.
Councilor Duffy.
Well, I totally agree with what Councilor Barrett and reiterated again by the Deputy Mayor. When I read this today, I was kind of blown away because it just seems to me what they're asking for is quite substantial from last year. And my first question is, what did they do to raise funds? And having no idea what they've done to raise funds or how much funds they actually have. I'm just in a quandary as how to go with this, because I just feel that the request is way too high for what's been accepted in the past. And they're asking for a lot more that's going to take up town resources to put together, picnic tables, all this kind of stuff. They didn't ask for that kind of stuff last year. And, well, you know, our staff are quite busy. There's a lot of infrastructure work going on. And, you know, our infrastructure has to take precedence over a festival. I mean, I totally support festivals. They do a lot of good things for the community, bring people together, bring a lot of people from out of town. But also have to calculate what kind of load this is going to put on town staff when they can be doing things that are definitely much more required in our community with the infrastructure. We have to get that work done.
Councilor Benoit.
In saying that, do they plan having people do that kind of work, like just picnic tables and whatever it is that they need for that festival? Or are they just relying on our town staff?
Well, that's not lined out either. I mean, do they have equipment to move around 3 picnic tables and all the chairs and all the other stuff that they're asking for, or is that?
Director Palucci?
So they requested that we could drop the tables off and pick them back up again. So we typically do it in a half ton, takes a few trips. So that was just factored into the timing around wages and then the actual rental cost.
Just to, again, address something Dr. Tucky raised there, if you're at all Facebook followers, you know the Fireweek Festival is doing all kinds of fundraising with the Chicken Poop Bingo, which I think was incredibly creative, and the Santa in July festival that they do, or little party that they do, which was a fundraiser. And there's a few other things. So they are, I give them credit. I mean, this sounds a bit hard, but right, it is a big ask. But they are doing a lot to try and raise funds. I'm not sure that the town can pick up the slack, is what my concern is. But if there is then a lot of work, if you're following Facebook regularly, your Facebook account is drowned in Fireweek posts on one thing or another that they're trying to do. So to their credit, they're doing a really good job out there. That doesn't make this something that I totally support in its entirety. It's proposal. So.
Councillor Cox, do you have anything to add?
Thanks. Yeah, I think I agree with a lot of stuff that's going on being said. A couple of thoughts I had was just definitely multi-year events that are going on kind of year after year. It would definitely be nice to see an annual financial statement to see, like Mike was saying, you know, just give an idea of how much money they're making, how much they're fundraising, and how much they truly need, what percentage we pull in. My other thought is, you know, supporting events with stuff like beer gardens, so that's a fundraiser in itself. So yeah, at what point, how much assistance do they need from us to break even, and what happens with any of the profits that do come out ahead? Like you say, if they are doing so much fundraising. That's it.
Thank you, Councillor Cox. So how would we proceed in this then? Do we just say yes, no to the summary of requests that's stated?
No, I was gonna mention it. I was just looking, and again, I was reading ahead, and maybe I don't know if I should or not, because there is a request for another music festival. And this one is scheduled for August 22nd onwards, and the other one is scheduled for July 13th. So we're looking in terms of which one might require a decision tonight. Obviously, the earlier one would be a higher priority in which to make a decision, not a higher priority in which to allocate funds. Given the size of the two asks, I would also support going back to Fireweek and asking to see their proposed budget. What's all their projected revenue? What's their projected expenditures? And therefore, because we do have a little bit of time before their festival, as it were, whereas the other one is coming up quicker. I mean, we have $2,500 under the music festival line item, and we have $1,800 under just non-committed donation money, correct? I'm looking at the other one. They're looking for the arena and the stage, but you already said the stage isn't available. So that one would really be an in-kind kind of arena donation, which is coming in around, what, $1,500 roughly for that. And then the other one, like I said, it gives us a little bit of time. If we tabled it, I don't know if we're allowed to do that, but I'm going to throw that out there in trying our experiment of only 2 meetings per month for 3 months. That's at least $2,500 in honoraria that we could then. No, I'm serious. I mean, if we are saying we only have $1,800 left, well, there's $2,500 that we could transfer in. So I don't appreciate you saying for me to stop it. I think that's a reasonable use of that funds, because I really do think both festivals are important. The more we can do in the town, the better. So that's just my 2 cents worth.
So how, I'm gonna, would you be comfortable making a proposal, of what we could split between the two festivals?
Yeah.
Rather than bringing it back around again without a lot more information, would you rather just sort of say that council could suggest that we'll split the funding and then we will provide these services?
Yeah, it could,
Director Bucci?
we could deal with it similarly to last year and allow for, they did ask for more than what we gave last year. And we gave $2,500 and $1,000 towards the stage, so total $1,500, and the stage was in kind. So,
It was your
and possibly, I mean, I didn't capture it well here, this is a multi-day event that also has family-friendly activities, has vendors, all the other things. The other event is afternoon to evening only, and I think it's only adults as well, because they do want to sell alcohol at the site. So there is a much wider audience for one than the other.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's an argument then to not have equal funding, but proportional funding between the two.
The music festival line itself, or leave the music festival line to one and use the remaining donation budget for the other.
Yeah, so how would you like me to state that?
If you wanted to make a motion to approve the donation of $1,500 towards the Fire Week Festival and $1,000 towards the setup of the stage, that would be if that's what you want.
Would it not be $2,500 for Fireweed, which is what the music festival dedicated line item is, and then $1,500 to the Howie Fest, because we have $1,800 left in that budget. So it could be $2,500 the music festival, the Fireweed, and then the support of the arena out of the remaining funds in our non-committed donation budget. Is it maybe I'm misunderstanding?
It's just because they also want the stage.
But the stage isn't available on that date, so.
It's available for Fire Week.
Oh.
So we're speaking to one project right now.
Okay.
Okay, so $2,500 Fire Week, that's the music festival line item. Okay, the donation of one stage appearance, right? Okay,
Well, it's $1,500.
okay,
$1,000, yes.
okay.
1,500 for like monetary donation, and then $1,000 would go towards the stage.
Okay, so I'm confused. The stage is 1,000, not 1,500?
The arena stage.
Is the arena factored in this proposal as well? Because I've heard stage, I've heard, so we're not giving the arena, or the arena's available if it rains, I need to understand.
Director,
So if you don't donate the use of the arena, they could still rent it. So they could pay for and rent the arena if they so choose.
just want to make sure the dollar amounts is correct.
Oh, you're bang on.
Okay, so $2,500 Fire Week Music Festival line item, right? Okay, and then the donation of the stage valued at 1,000. Okay, and that is for Fire Week Festival. Okay. And so who's gonna move
I come with that,
that?
that we donate a total of $2,500 out of our dedicated music festival line item, 1,500. Yeah, I was gonna say, 1,500 in cash and then 1,000 in kind, transferred to the state. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting mixed up now.
SAO?
May I suggest that what you're trying to say is that council motions to donate the $2,500 dedicated budget line item for music festivals, plus the in-kind donation for the $1,000 for the stage?
No. I was saying it included, that $2,500 includes the stage cost. That's what I was trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah, so then we give them $1,500 and the stage. which
Okay,
equals
so we got
25.
the other 1,000 that's in that, if that's what it comes out of then? Okay, sorry.
That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
I don't know. Give them a total of $2,500 out of the line item, which includes the stage cost.
Thank you. You're so good.
We'll work that out.
Okay. So seconded by Councilor Kudrow. Okay, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay, next is our briefing note for Halloween Fest donation request. So then now first we're discussing it, right? Okay, discussion first. Director?
So I just wanted to highlight that, so in addition to the donation request, there's also then, a request to serve alcohol and drink certificates, which is currently outside of what our policy allows for, so there just have to be an acknowledgement as well that this would be allowed outside of our normal policy.
Okay. Discussion on the request.
Would that be two motions, one for the donation and one to allow the variance?
I think you work it in one. You work it in one.
Work your magic.
Sorry, and then this one, the stage is not notified. But we do have the extra monies from the music festival that could be donated to this. Yes.
So the remaining, so the music festival budget line would be used up with the previous motion and for recommendation. So it leaves you with the remaining budget of $1,820 for 2025 yards donation.
And that's like our overall budget for donation.
Can you quickly itemize what other expected donation requests may be coming in before the end of the year? Just roughly. I know
There's
Christmas
usually
ones.
some requests that come around Christmas, outside of dedicated line items. Those are the biggest ones, so, Paddle Fest has a dedicated line, so when they request, it comes over there. The JBTQ program has a dedicated line, that comes out to them. But there's usually another $1,500 to $2,000 worth of donation requests that may come in before the end of the year.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think this is an honorable undertaking to pay tribute to people of our community that have passed on. The only concern I have with it that it is we're supporting a licensed event. We pride ourselves in being a family-oriented community, and to me, a licensed event excludes a significant portion of our community. I'm thinking the youth, especially a lot of our teenage youth, I think could greatly benefit from being able to partake in activities that are cultural in nature, musical and talent oriented. And I would really like to see if there was a way that this event could be expanded to allow youth to be able to participate in the event. If there's a need for a licensed thing, is there another area of the, that could be segregated, so that the youth can participate in the general, tribute and musical component of this, festival.
Thank you, Councillor Benoit.
I attended the one last year. It was out on the highway there at RDC. And the youth attended up to a certain time, and then they were asked to leave. And then that's when they served alcohol, and then the adults just, and it was no problem. It went smoothly. They had people walking around, looking after things, and yeah, alcohol never left the premises. The music was great, and there was quite a good crowd there, and there was food, and so yeah, it went really well. And like they had games for youth and kids before a certain time, and then they left.
Councillor Benoit.
Yeah. Thank you for the information, Councillor Benoit. I am hopeful that they are planning to use the same format again this year, and if so, I would be much more in support of it. Like I say, it is fantastic that we're paying tribute to these individuals, and I think we need to be very cognizant of the fact that our youth in the community need to be able to participate and should be encouraged to participate in events that bring the community together.
Anyone else? So is it possible then for us to approve the rental of the arena as like the in-kind and the staffing? Right, because the stages can't be done because of the timing, right? Is that correct, Director?
Yeah, so the $1,500 would be the cost to rent the arena. It's not knowing how the hours of the festival makes it a little bit hard for me to estimate staffing, so that is just a number that I don't have right now. But the $1,500 would be for the rental of the arena.
Okay. So that would bring our remaining donation balance to $320, is that correct? Councillor Kirsha?
Do they know the stage is not available?
Yes,
Okay.
so, we did tell them that the stage wasn't going to.
And they're still looking for the arena and those dates.
Heck of a venue without a stage. It's a heck of a venue without a stage, so I'm intrigued. And now, Councillor Kirschak's question makes sense to me, that it's hard to do a festival in there when your band's at the same level as the ice surface. So I just wonder about the logic of it, but, you know, it's a good cause, as Councillor Couillard says, so I support that.
Councillor Kirsha?
Well, let's put a motion on and then we can officially discuss it. I move that we donate $1,500 in kind towards the rental and staffing of the arena, contingent upon a youth component of the festival being incorporated.
Director? Okay, Councillor Couillard? Director?
So if the recommendation does go through as well, it allows for me to gather more information. If you have questions that can be brought back to the regular meeting of council before a motion is made to make this official. So if there are requests for more information, I can get those in that time frame.
Councillor Brett?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just, we could ask them to provide us a festival outline or a scheduled outline prior to our next, or regular council meeting next Tuesday, that would be appreciated, so that we can see exactly how much of a youth component they're able to incorporate into the festival.
Just a reminder that you did want to make an exception to the allow licensed event in the arena. Or director.
So it's okay to have a licensed event within our policy, it's just that the service of alcohol is contained to the mezzanine area by policy in the arena. So serving on the ring surface and having alcohol be permitted on the ring surface would be a deviation from that. So if we're not okay with that and would rather keep service of alcohol in the mezzanine, I think that's a stipulation that we could also make.
Councillor Benoit?
I've attended a few gatherings that were held in the arena on the rink surface. And there has been alcohol served in there, and the alcohol was not allowed to leave the rink surface. And they've had bouncers and they were well.
Director?
It's just an updated policy since 2021. So that's the alcohol use, the facility alcohol use policy came into effect in 2021. So that was where the change happened. So previously it was allowed.
Councillor Coupret?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to follow up to our request for an outline of the fest program outline, is if we could get clarification on the serving of alcohol. I think we would have time at while we discuss this at the next meeting to be able to bring forward a motion should there need to be an exception or a provision regarding the policy.
So does that change the motion? Oh, Councillor Cox? Yeah.
Thanks. So yeah, I agree with what Mike Coupret was saying. Couple thoughts. I don't know if anybody with the Holly Festival has talked to the Fireweek Festival. Maybe there's a chance to collaborate there and have a Holly Festival part of the Fireweek Festival. Kind of combine energies and make one bigger, better celebration. The other one was, if we already have a budget item set aside for music festivals, I don't know how comfortable I am with using up a significant portion of our remaining budget for another music festival, especially this early in the season. Doing that and, yeah, the beer gardens conversation. I'm not against donating with given the reasoning behind it. But yeah, if this is going to be a long-term, multi-year thing, then I think we need to think about how many music festivals we want to be able to support.
Thank you, Councillor Cox.
Thanks.
Councillor Benoit?
In saying that, I mean, I don't think it would be good to combine the music festivals, because then you're kind of taking it away from the memories of the plane crash and, you know, the people that are still dealing with that tragedy. And I don't think that it's going to become an every year thing. It's just, it's how people cope and deal with things. And so the last Howie Fest was directed to Howie, now they want to direct it toward the other people that were part of it. And that's where I see it in.
Councillor Coupret?
Just a final comment and also in follow-up with Councillor Benoit's thoughts on it. Do we know if the organizers of the Howie Fest have talked to DIVEC about potential sponsorship as well through that organization? I know they've reached out to the community in the past to say that they are open to assisting the community in dealing with the the after effects of the crash and things like that. And this may be another way to help support some of the costs that will be incurred in helping with the holding of this tribute. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. May I have a chair too, so I can speak to
Sure.
Thank you.
I assume the chair. No one wants to speak? Oh, conservation.
Okay, so I do want to speak in favor of supporting this music festival. I know it doesn't exactly have the same reach as Fireweek does currently, but I think the drive is there, and it is important to remember the ones that we did lose during the incident. It is difficult. I know our donation budget is very, very tight, and it is only July. But I'm hoping with the changes that we've made to our, what's it called, the lottery licenses, I think that could potentially help, moving forward later on into the season every year. And then I also agree that less meetings will hopefully, if we do a lot, that those funds right into the donation policy, that'd be a nice way to recoup some of it. So personally, I do want to support this community initiative from the town of Fort Smith, and I do just want to say that we didn't ask Fireweek for or actually didn't. Oh yeah, go back to Fireweek for revenue expenditures before making a decision. Okay, so I just want to make sure that it's fair. Like if we're asking one festival, that all the festivals do it. That's the point that I'm trying to not outwardly. Thank you.
Okay, I'll relinquish the chair back to you.
Thank you, Councilor Kirsha. Any more comments? Okay, so are we gonna table this until regular meeting of council, or is there a motion on the
There is a motion on the floor that we donate the in-kind $1,500 contingent upon the evidence component.
Okay. Seconded by Hoover. Okay. All in favor? Thank you. Motion is carried.
Councilor, so out of that discussion as well, the administration will be following up with them. Thank you. I just want to make sure that was clear.
Okay, next up is our briefing note for Canada Day Parade and Celebration road closures.
I move the council approve the following road closures for the 2025 Canada Day Parade and celebrations. Portage Avenue from McDougall Road to Conbear Park parking lot from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on July 1st. McDougall Road from Post Office Crosswalk to the Anglican Church parking lot from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on July 1st. Temporary road closures along the proposed parade route as indicated in the request from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Seconded.
I'll second.
Councilor Kirsha. Okay. Any discussion? Director?
I just wanted to take a chance to highlight if anyone didn't see it in the report, that we were successful in getting almost twice the amount of funding that we had last year. So it means that we will have fish fry again for Canada Day. The fish is ordered, they're catching it, I see. Well, I mean, they'll get up early and catch it.
Deputy Mayor?
I worked in tourism for over 30 years, and I've told people all over this country that one thing Fort Smith does better than anybody is Canada Day. Next is Christmas. So I think this is, I'm glad to see, thank you for the news on fish fry. It's glad to see that the town is still celebrating Canada Day. Like many towns in Canada don't do as well as we do, so really pleased to see this.
No further discussion? Okay, So, all in favor? Unanimous, passed unanimously. Okay, nothing under other business. So we are moving to the excusing of transfers. May I have someone move the excusing of transfers, please?
I move that Councillor Bass and Mayor Ferguson be excused from the Community Services Standing Committee meeting on June 10th, 2025.
Seconded by
I'll say,
Councilor Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, passed unanimous. Okay, our next Community Services Standing Committee meeting will be on July 15th, 2025, 6:30 p.m. Adjournment.
I move we adjourn at 7:16.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor Keiser. All in favor?